Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been making some demands to the president on how he sees cabinet should be reconstituted. This is after the dissolution of cabinet by President William Ruto. And of course, right now, President Ruto has that power to appoint any cabinet secretaries who he thinks will be fit for this new government that will start after the new cabinet has been vetted and approved by the parliament, of course. But as I went through the demands that the deputy president has given the president, of course he has a say in who he thinks should be fit for this new government. And of course, what struck me the most is also what the Nyeri governor, Mutahi Kahiga, had also opined, that half of the cabinet positions should be allocated to Mt.Kenya region. Of course, as a country, we have a diverse range of cultures and people who vote differently when it comes to elections. But we have to understand the fact that we are here because of sentiments like those. Sentiments like Mutahi Kahiga, of course, he speaks mostly on behalf of the deputy president. That is in public knowledge, that part of the cabinet should come from this area because they voted this way. The sole reason as to why we are in this trouble right now is because of that shareholding narrative, that someone has to be in government or has to be appointed on the merit that they were allies of the president or they voted this way. We didn't understand, we didn't want to listen to Kenyans when they said that we should be looking at professionalism. In one stance, as I read on the demands that he gave the president, he says that professionalism should be looked into. But how do you look at professionalism, yet you're pinning the president to look at one region to have half of the cabinet secretaries? See, it is not probable. It is not something that we should appreciate as a country. Many of our young men and women went to the streets to demonstrate of good governance and accountability. Accountability starts as soon as the president will appoint these ministers, these cabinet secretaries. And of course, it comes also as soon as those names are out there in the public. People will assess these names. People will assess the regions where these names are coming from. They will want to know how inclusive is this government. Have they learned from what the ditch that the government has gotten itself into? That is the most important thing that these Gen Zs and the entire Kenya will be looking into. And if not, then we'll have lost credible time, we'll have lost credible resources, and everything else that we have, that these young people have been fighting for, will go to waste. Therefore, these notions that we need to have a particular number of people from one region should be dealt with and done with. This is something that should not be in our conversation. In fact, in my proposal, if the president comes from the North Rift region, if the deputy president comes from Mount Kenya, if the prime CS, or call it what you have to call it, comes from Western, then these other CSs should not even come from these three regions. They should come from other regions. We appreciate the diversity of leadership that the country has to offer. Let us, for instance, have an Ogiek becoming a CS for the first time in our country. Let us have people who, cultures that are not represented, let them be also on the table, so that we portray that aspect of being a national government. And if we do that, I am sure this government will have the support of a lot of Kenyans, because they will ask Kenyans, see, what we have done is what you asked. But if we continue playing with this tribal narrative, that we have to employ these people from this region because of this and that, then we will not be acting on what these people wanted. Something else, he opined that half of the cabinet should be women. That is a good thing, because that was a promise that was being given by this government. That is what this government should look into, and not focus on what tribal composition will be for these CSS.